So good to see you here at Mobile World Congress 2015. First of all, what is Visa doing in the middle of the mobile world society?
Well, Visa has been part of the mobile world for a few years now, and is absolutely at the heart of this sort of new mobile payments explosion that we're seeing. Lots of different players coming into the market, working with the banks in terms of bringing new services to market for their customers. So a really, really exciting space. And Visa is very much at the heart of it, putting platforms in place for banks to use, bringing partners, mobile partners into the market to be able to work in collaboration with those banks, and bringing some very exciting new propositions to the market for customers. That could be in the space of mobile payment, in terms of being able to use your mobile to pay at point of sale, also to actually use your mobile to send money to people, to your friends, or to your friends in your local market, or to your friends actually on the other side of the world. So an awful lot is happening in mobile, including in the kind of the mobile point of sale as well as kind of another kind of key development.
Where do you see your role between the financial part, between the banks, between the telecom operators? You are in the center of this new ecosystem of mobile money.
Well, we see our role very much in terms of enabling platforms. So we are working with handset manufacturers, the likes of Samsung, for example. We are working with mobile operators and have worked with mobile operators for some time now. We're also working with operating system players, such as the Android system, for example, and looking to really enable these platforms for banks to use to be able to kind of to develop and bring to market their own offerings. So we're kind of a facilitator or an enabler of mobile payment, and providing a range of ingredients, a range of services which people can actually choose different services to kind of to use to do their own service which they kind of bring into the market.
In this new game, who starts the initiatives? The manufacturer devices, the mobile operators, the banks? Who do you think is the key driver in developing the mobile payments?
Well, I think that each of those parties can actually be a driver. It can be the banks who are forward-thinking and forward-looking, seeing that that their customers really want to be using their mobile for more and more things, and therefore developing a vision and then reaching out to different partners. But also then it's clear that the operators see a mobile payment as being an important part of their proposition, and I think the handset manufacturers also see that adding payment functionality, payment capability is a good way of selling handsets and reinforcing their position in the market. So I think each of them has an interest in terms of developing it. And our way is just to kind of to enable each one of those players to be able to kind of to use the available technology, sometimes develop new technology to actually be able to then to bring exciting new services to market. I think tokenization has been a kind of a groundbreaking new approach. And enables a number of possibilities. So we are very excited about bringing our tokenization service into Europe, which will be available for banks to start using from the middle of April. So we look forward to seeing a range of interesting kind of new possibilities, interesting new products and services being brought to market in the coming couple of years. I think another kind of key role that Visa has played is in terms of developing the acceptance infrastructure, where getting the places to use, so working with retailers and getting those terminals in place so that you can use a mobile payment, use your mobile phone to actually pay. So the kind of the development of contactless cards and issuing more and more contactless cards in many countries, but then getting the terminal infrastructure in place as well. And we now have something like 2.4 million terminals in place in Europe. Here in Spain, then we have over 500,000 contactless terminals. That's 500,000 places you can also use your mobile phone to pay. And so I think it's very much all the ingredients are in place now to kind of to see mobile payments start to scale and become an everyday occurrence and a mass market phenomenon.
The mobile money services seems to target two different types of audiences. The very elevated ones, the early adopters who wants to be very fashion to have the new devices, but also the unbanked population.
Yeah.
How do you see this gap? How do you think Visa can link these two segments?
Well, so Visa looks to serve all different segments of the market. So we are very interested in developing the consumer market and the corporate market and the government market. Turning to the consumer market, then you have the affluent, the higher end, and you also have the the underserved market, the either people who aren't fully banked. And so that kind of range of different segments. So Visa has always sought to serve and to support banks that are providing their own particular product or service to that particular kind of target audience. I think mobile money is an interesting space and where we've been doing some work recently. So our P2P service, so if I was to send money to you using my just my mobile phone, being able to actually to effect a transfer in a near kind of real-time kind of transfer of funds using that P2P service. We have for the kind of developing markets, there's a service which we're showing today, which is called mVisa, which is our colleagues in Visa Inc. are deploying and looking to get deployed in some of the markets in Africa, for example, where you haven't got the same terminal infrastructure, but actually you're using the mobile phone. So people have got mobile phones. It's actually using the phone as a point of sale terminal in order to be able to to actually enable people to make those transactions and make those transfers in a P2P sense. So whether it be the prepaid sector, and we've always been a big player in prepaid cards. We're now looking to take that into mobile payment as well, and to see how can we kind of develop and evolve our P2P offerings to kind of support those underserved, those kind of lower end segments, as well as actually being very much the high end as well. So I'm very interested across that spectrum.
What are your expectations for the evolution of the mobile payments? How much of your business do you think it will go directly to the mobile payments?
Well, we're saying that in the next 4 or 5 years there's going to be some fundamental change, and already we're seeing a significant proportion of our transactions are moving from the physical world into that kind of e-commerce, m-commerce world. So in our annual results last year, we're sort of near 20% of our transactions are e-com transactions. Increasingly, those e-com transactions are actually are from a mobile device or a tablet or so on. So if e-com is becoming m-com, we see that just really kind of accelerating over the next couple of years, with the acceptance infrastructure now in place for proximity payment. Then we see a great deal of enthusiasm from customers who are able to actually to use their phones in that sense. So I think by 2020 we'll certainly be seeing 50% or more of our transactions will be mobile oriented in one way or another. So I think that it's been a long time coming, perhaps, and I think each year people have said, next year is a year of mobile, but we really truly believe that the ingredients are now in place, the technologies are in place, and we should start seeing a mass market deployment of mobile payment and mobile money across Europe.
In the end, how could you summarize Visa presence here at Mobile World Congress? What are your biggest announcements here?
Our biggest announcements, then we've made some announcements in terms of the acceleration we've seen in the great momentum we're seeing in the cloud-based payments world. So this is using the Google Android HCE technology, which are working with many banks across Europe. So we have 30 banks across Europe in 10 or more markets who are working with us in terms of developing their cloud-based offerings. The rollout of our tokenization platform, the availability of that, There have obviously been some big announcements in the before Congress started from Samsung in terms of the announcement about Samsung paying. So we're very excited about that for when that comes to market in due course in Europe. And of course, we're very much still working with our partners, with our mobile operator partners in terms of helping to develop their offerings as well. So I think there's a enormous amount of activity. Really exciting, and I think we're on the verge, as I say, of actually seeing this mass market mobile payment. So the tokenization is a key platform. Cloud is a key platform as well, and it's great to see many banks and other providers energized in terms of really kind of making this happen.